Good morning, Chavra. Today is Rosh Chodesh, Tammuz, the first day of the month of Tammuz. We're going to learn Tanya. We're beginning a new chapter, chapter 10 in Shar Yichud V'Amunah, Perek Yud. In concluding the previous chapter, the Alter Rebbe explains that since Hashem is infinitely above intellect, intellectual means are inadequate to grasp Hashem's absolute unity. Listen, we know that Hashem is beyond us, so once we get into that thought process, we just say, no, we can't. It's all about faith at that point. And that's where we are. Nevertheless, despite the fact that the spheres transcend intellect and comprehension, the Torah speaks in the language of men. It says Hashem spoke. Hashem doesn't speak. Hashem doesn't have a mouth. Hashem thinks. Hashem has Hashem doesn't have emotion. Why? Why does the Torah speak like this in the language of men? So that we could listen and hear and have some form of a relationship to understanding what we're talking about. Therefore, permission was granted to the Kabbalists, the scholars, to speak allegorically of the spheres, to put it into words and terms that we could understand. Like we're talking about the sun and its rays. We're talking about the sun and its shield. What else do we talk about? Teacher and student, parents and children. What other mishalim? Nothing comes to mind at the moment. But like the chariot and its rider, right? Kabbalah, the Kabbalists call the spheros lights, using the terminology borrowed from the revelation of light. What? What's the question? Oh. When we look and understand and hear a metaphor, a mashal, about the nature of the unity of Hashem and His attributes, maybe it could be somewhat understood. Can it be fully understood? Obviously not. Is it beyond our understanding? Of course, that's what we mentioned yesterday. So here's an example that we've used, like the unity of the sunlight that's within the solar globe itself. Do you say that when you look up in the sun, there's rays of sun that come from the sun? When you look at the sun, it's all included in the sun, right? So that's what we say. That's the mashal we give. The pasuk says that Hashem created the great luminary. This is the source of the light. When we have rays of the sun and beams of light, we call them light, as Hashem called the light day. Okay, so that's when we see rays of light. Now, it's a little overcast today, but the beginning of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, oh boy, there were major rays of light coming down. No, you see the dust in the ray. That allows you to see the rays, right? But if we'd be sitting here on a sunny day, the sun would be beating down on our heads.
Sunny day.
All right, Jeff, let's see. How do I mute you?
I was muted before until it transferred to my car.
So can you just mute, please? It's a little distracting. Okay. So the light of the sun, we don't say, there's the rays that come down here are in the sun. It's nullified within the sun with absolute unity. For there, within the sun, there's only one entity, which is, we call it the body of the sun. That's the sun. We don't say, inside the sun, there's rays of light. There are no rays of light inside the sun. The rays of light are coming down here. It's just the sun. There's nothing else besides the sun and the sun. We don't say there's rays, there's light, there's this. It's just the sun. וכדברים האלה ממש, ויועצם מזה הן מידויסו של הקדוש ברוך הוא רצונו חפש באצילוס, עם מחוסר עצמוסי כביכול. Precisely this way is the attributes of Hashem. You say the Rahmanis, the kindness, the judgment, the different attributes that Hashem, the creative ability, the skills. We don't say that with Hashem, it's all found within him. There's just Hashem. Then when we have a relationship to whatever attribute Hashem, oh, Hashem is Rahmanim, Hashem has kindness, he's our father, etc. We give attributes to Hashem by extension. Hashem's extension, so to speak. When it's within Hashem, it's completely united with Hashem with a perfect unity. Since they derive and emanate from Hashem, just as by the way of analogy, light is diffused from the sun. However, it's not really like this, guys. It's not really like this. Every time we do a mashal, it's not really, doesn't always add up or line up perfectly. Hashem's unity is and his attributes are not like this, meaning like the fusion of the sun with the light which still is within it, but in a different manner completely. Concealed from our comprehension, for Hashem's ways are higher than our ways. So there's always like, the Alter Rebbe tries to bring a mashal, Chassidus and Kabbalah bring different parables and analogies, and then we say, but that doesn't really work, because Hashem's ways are higher than our ways, and we can't understand them, right? So that's where Emunah comes in. Nevertheless, in order to be able to understand and just have a conversation about it, we can perceive and comprehend at least a little bit of an understanding through the analogy of the sun and its light. Which is united, the sun is which is united and nullified. The light of the sun is united and nullified within the sun, and it has no name of its own, only the name of its source, the sun. So that's what we try to do when it comes to the attributes of Hashem. We try to say that the attributes of Hashem are found and nullified within Hashem. And we don't say, oh, there, Hashem is there, and then his attributes are included within him. We don't say that. We just say Hashem is everywhere, Hashem is everything. But when it comes to the creatures, the creations down here, below the world of Atzilus, and even in the higher worlds, Shavayosam v'chayusam v'hanagasam shakadosh baruch hu mahavim machayosam umanhigam. They are brought into existence, are given life, and are guided in their conduct by Hashem. And through Hashem's will and understanding and knowledge, which garb themselves in Hashem's holy emotive attributes, such as Chesed, Gvura, and Tiferes. So thus the spheres are termed Chachma, Bina, Das, Chesed, and Gvura, and so forth, in relation to the beings which are created and given life through Hashem and His will and His wisdom, and so forth, which clothe themselves in the emotive attributes. This Medrash Vasara Devarim Nivra Olam. Oh, we learn Pirkei Avos also. It says that the world was created by the means of 10 things: Chachma, Usvuna, Vadas, by understanding and by knowledge and by wisdom. Kidduchsiv Hashem bechachma Yasad Oretz. Hashem founded the earth with wisdom. Hashem established the heavens with understanding. With his knowledge, the depths of the abyss were burst open. And so we see from the Medrash that the world was created by means of 10 things, meaning the 10 spheres. And it seems to be that it was be'etzem, like mainly through the wisdom of Hashem. But we already explained that there is no wisdom, so to speak. There is no real wisdom. it's the way that the Torah describes it so that we can have some type of relationship to this phenomenon. As expressed by Elijah. The apikas asar tikunin vikarinon lahoin asar sfiron. In the passage of Pasach Eliyahu, and it forms part of the introduction to Tikkun Zayar, you have brought forth 10 tikkunim. And what are tikkunim? Garments. And we call them the 10 spheres. Ulanahaga behoin olmin simin the law iskalion the olma the iskalion. Behoin iskasio. Iskisias through which to direct hidden worlds, unrevealed meaning worlds that transcend mortal comprehension, and worlds revealed meaning worlds that are accessible to mortal comprehension, and through them you conceal yourself from created beings so that they will not be able to perceive the divine life force that creates and vivifies them. So the takeaway is like this: light shines outwards, but is closely connected to its source. Even a flashlight, for example, you see the beam of the light. It comes from the bulb or the LED or whatever you want to call it. So it's close to its source. It doesn't go more than, I don't know, unless you have a really, really strong beam, it goes somewhat further, 100 feet, 300 feet. How much could it go?
Like it's just like you're left with no light. It's connected from here to there.
Right. So it gives off the light, but it's connected to the light, right?
All right, you can say that whatever touches.
So too, Hashem's attributes are called, this is why we call them lights, oiros, because they're also internally connected to their source. But again, Hashem is everything and everywhere. So it's the best mashal we can give. The Alter Rebbe tries to explain how the oiros and the kalim work. And so for our purposes, let's think of a flashlight or the sun, where you turn on the light. It can only go so far, but it's connected completely to its source. So too is the light of Hashem, always connected to its source. So even if you feel that Hashem is reaching out, Rahmanas or judgment or in a fatherly way or whatever way, if it seems as if it's this extension of Hashem, but really it's all HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And remember, whenever we get stuck with all these different thoughts and they're very deep concepts, just remember that at the end of the day, it's all about Emunah. Shara Yichud V'Emunah. This is the gate of unity and faith in Hashem. All right, Chevra, a good Chodesh and a good Erev Shabbos, and we'll see you Mitzvah Hashem
Next time.
next time.